Hi there. Let's talk about physics. We're meeting 3 days a month, so the first 3 weeks of the month predominantly. And what we're going to be looking at is being able to look at the variables and solve for unknowns, or come up with a procedure in order to solve for an unknown variable, and be able to see the world in the physics lens. You're going to see it all around you, for better or for worse. So in this class, we're going to be able to cover a lot of the topics and have time in class to actually do some practice problems. A typical day that I'm thinking is we'll have some sort of intro activity that makes them think about the topic we're talking about, and then we'll be able to have a quick discussion about it. I'm going to do more of a typical lecture on how to solve a problem. They'll do some practice problems, and then we'll go in the lab. Or a different way we might go commonly is we'll do the lab first, and it'll lead to the discussion on what they just discovered and how that can tell us about the world. So it's going to be math, but in a really applicable way so that they can really see it. It's not just plugging and chugging numbers, but really to be able to see the math and right in front of them in a lab experience. So that's what I see the weeks going on. When I'm thinking about what kind of labs to do, I'm trying to think about, make sure they're going to hit the topics in the chapter. How can I best show them what's going on? A lot of times when people see it, they can understand it better, and so that's why I'm choosing the labs that I'm choosing. Okay, taking a look at our syllabus. So this is going to change every week, so don't print out a set copy. It'll be changing as we go to make sure that I'm keeping pace with the student, not going too fast or too slow for them. So make sure not to print it all out. Okay, ahead of time. What we're going to first be doing is kind of looking at sig figs and how to do graphs properly. We got to get there in order to be able to do all the labs that we're going to be doing. And that's actually where the chapter kind of starts. So there's this column right here which talks about before class what they're going to have to read. Now if they're going to read something before class, I'm going to be very clear on what they have to know about it. So like here, before September 15th, they need to understand how speed is different from velocity, so be very clear on that part. And then this down here, what's my main goal is found there. Here's one. It's not a set thing from the textbook, but to know like here's where we're starting trig, so brush up on these topics to make sure you know what you're doing. If it's something that's more about history, lots of times the textbook starts out with history stuff, then I've just kind of put the pages in there. If they get something out of it, great. If they don't, it's not going to make or break the class, but it's going to tell them about the scientists. So that's where you'll see all of those parts. And then the after part, here's the goals that we're going to accomplish in class. I'm going to get through most of the things that the chapter talks about, but I probably won't get through everything every week. And so I want to be really clear about these are the things I can get through in the chapter. The chapter does not do a good job of like listing out, you need to know this, this, and this. These are things that I've created because I want to make sure I'm clear, this is what you should know by the end. And so you'll have to look at your student will be reading the chapter like September 15th, completing Module 1. When it says complete Module 1, that'd be the time, if you're going to do any tests from the test solution manual, that'd be the time to do it. They should always be doing the practice problems. No matter that we're doing problems in class, it's not going to be enough to really have a thorough understanding unless they're doing practice problems at home, because I only have 90 minutes a week. Alright. I'm going to be communicating to you through Google Classroom. And you'll first see there's an announcement up there, so hopefully you've logged in. If you haven't, make sure to get me those emails if you haven't filled out the form. Everyone who did fill out the form, I already put you in there, so you should see that email sent to you. Your classwork will be here. That's where you'll see the syllabus I was just showing you, as well as all the labs. So if we do a lab in class and you didn't have time to turn it in like a paper copy to me, you can always take it home, finish it up at your own time, however long that takes you, and then take a picture of it and submit it into Google Classroom. And so then when I get the labs, assuming I get most of them in paper in class, then I'm going to go home and I'm going to grade them, and I'll take snapshots, pictures of them, and link it to your student's actual lab with their grade, so you can see any of the feedback I have. I think it's really important to get the feedback right away. If you wait a week, then you're just thinking like, well, this isn't all that great. I don't even remember doing this. I wanted to get it right away, so I'll hopefully get that out there Thursday or Friday. That way your student will know how they did and what they can do better next time. And then your grades will be posted right here. Only when you're in the students can you access that. So then the other part of the grades that you'll see, you'll get grades for the labs. If they do a thing in class, maybe with a group, you'll see a group grade in there too. But I'll probably be sending out, probably not every week, but predominantly in the weeks, an announcement will always come out and say, this is what we did in class, don't forget to turn in this lab, here's your reading due for next week. complete module 1 or whatever it might be. And then there'll be a formative quiz part of that. So that'll be where I asked some questions that were things that we learned in class that they should be able to do. That way your student can answer the questions. It will be emailed to you to see how they did on those. And then you can see, okay, they got this in class, they did not. That way you know how much does your student need to do at home versus not doing things at home. I think that everybody should be doing definite reading and definite practice problems in class. So just doing what we do in class is not enough. You're definitely going to have to see some things happening at home in order to get a thorough understanding of physics. So I'll hopefully be able to communicate to you via grades in classroom, and then you'll get a weekly email seeing how your student did by the topics that were in class. I'm going to encourage the kids to finish that on Thursday or Friday right after class. It'll be due by the end of that week, so that way they're ready for the next module in the next week. And then I can see how they're ready. If there's any questions that you have, please let me know. Otherwise, we're going to have a great time in physics.